So, Michael is the big basketball fan, and as I mentioned earlier, having grown up in PA with all my in-laws, they're all Penn State grads. I admit I love college football, and in watching the games this fall, I'm just amazed at how it seems with the mention of so many players. You'll hear, he came from X university this year to shore up the offensive line, and following college sports with the advent of the transfer portal has really turned into almost like the hot stove league in baseball, right? To maybe mix my sports metaphors there for a bit. But, I think, making student athletes sit out a season if they transferred while coaches could kind of go anywhere they wanted, that was never a great system, right? That was the old system and it needed to change. But the transfer portal really has seemed to swung in the completely other direction, the pendulum, in the completely other direction. Is this what we expected? And if these are truly student athletes, is this really in their best interest in terms of being a student?
In terms of being a student, the answer is almost certainly probably not. And we have enough, I think, research to know, independent of athletics, that many students that transfer schools, even once, are going to be at some academic risk. And if they transfer multiple times, where we know that credit systems don't always move over exactly the same way, and then you got to be in the registrar hell. And yes, if the goal is to complete a degree in 4 years, moving around 2 or 3 times in any circumstance will make that more difficult. But I also have some sympathy for the athletes that elect to make these decisions. And we can use basketball here specifically, because I for my money, this is the most transient and transactional right now of all college sports. If you are a high school basketball player who is not Zion Williamson, who is not some consensus first round NBA 5-star guy, and you go to a regional school and you play well, there's going to be significant demand for your services from other institutions, and from whose collectives are willing to pay upfront 6-figure payments. If I had been offered a job that paid $350,000 when I was an undergraduate at Ohio State, would I have dropped out to take that job? Of course. I don't make $350,000 now. I didn't. I made 38 when I graduated teaching elementary school. And especially if you came from a Pell Grant family, I think if you can get that contract and you get a lawyer to approve it, it would be insane not to take it. And you might take that 350 and you might play basketball for 1 year. And if you do well, you might get another one. It's actually just like it is in the private workforce. It's easier to get a raise if you change jobs than it is to go back to your boss and try to negotiate a raise. And this is why we see a lot of people in higher ed switch from place to place, and maybe I'll go work for Huron Consulting for a year, or maybe I'll go to a think tank and then I'll come back, right? It's this exact same principle, and coaches do it, assistant coaches do it, athletic directors do it, everybody in the apparel world does it, and this is where people learned it from. So it's in the rational self-interest for individuals who have a very limited time to maximize their basketball-related earnings or their football-related earnings, given their injury risk, to transfer a lot. And I don't know a great way to square that circle between wanting to help people maximize their earnings potential and take care of their family, while also put themselves in a position to get the best possible academic experience and to get a degree, because you could tear your ACL at any time without collective bargaining, without limits here on structure on these deals that wouldn't hold up in court without this. If I knew how to fix that exactly, I wouldn't be in the newsletter business. I would be in the policy making business, I think.